This is Dr. Betsy Greenleaf, and we're here with another episode of Body, Mind, Spirit. I'm so excited to be talking to not only a good friend of mine, but an expert, celebrity expert in skincare, Rachel Varga. Thank you so much, Rachel, for being with us today.
It's great to be here. And yeah, it's great to reconnect and share our expertise. So I know that you are an expert in women's gynecological health and all of that good stuff. So I've definitely come to you on a few occasions and vice versa. And it's just going to be fun to share with everybody, maybe some things to try to kind of like boost your skincare routine, ways to kind of hone in and stay on that straight and narrow path for your skincare, your skin rejuvenation, and all of that fun stuff. There's going to be a lot of like free tips and tricks that will drop in this session here. So I'm really excited.
How did you get involved in skincare? Like, how did that become your thing?
I actually, it's kind of this roundabout thing. After I finished getting my bachelor's of science in nursing, so I'm a double board certified aesthetic nurse specialist. So I have additional certification as a board certified aesthetic nurse specialist, and I've done about 20,000 rejuvenation procedures since 2011. International clinical trainer. When I last saw you in New York, I was actually teaching at a couple of clinics as well for some doctors and nurses. I was actually really considering med school myself as well. And so during that process, I was doing Gen Chem, Organic Chem, Biochem. So I'm a huge science nerd, which is really fun when we're talking about skincare and rejuvenation and peptides and antioxidants and all that cool stuff and the signaling pathways for our skin cells to revitalize them and all of that cool stuff. And I wanted to see what it was like to kind of actually be in a medical practice. So I actually have since 2011 also experienced in ophthalmology oculoplastic surgery as well. And it was kind of neat to see what it's like to have a clinic, run a clinic, care for clients and things like that. And I wasn't planning on being in it forever, but I found my passion. And it's just so gratifying having women come to see me. I do a ton of online work for men and women all across the globe for skin consulting and all that cool stuff. And it's just great, the feedback that I get, saving hundreds, if not thousands of dollars and, avoiding this gimmick and that gimmick, because honestly, they are everywhere right now. And I'd love to, highlight some of that on this episode to help everyone stay on the straight and narrow.
That's such a good thing to bring up because skincare can be so confusing because it is a giant market and there's bazillions of products out there and everybody's claiming like we're the best product. So it's really hard to know where to even start. So what do you recommend to people?
Never go for the bright, shiny object syndrome, just across the board in absolutely anything. I've seen this with rejuvenation devices, body contouring. Usually the first generation or iteration of it isn't very good. So you always want to wait for like the second, third generation of a lot of this rejuvenation stuff. When it comes to skincare, we're seeing a lot of indie brands popping up. We're also seeing just a ton of white labeling as well. So there's quite a bit of a dirty underbelly in the whole skincare world. I work with about 13 medical grade skincare companies that most of them have actually been formulating for decades. So that's really what I use with my clients, are tried and true products that I see clients keep coming back for since 2011 that I've been working with them. But the same thing goes with your social media advertisements that you're seeing on all the different platforms for these beauty pills, hair, skin, nail pills, these skincare products. You really don't just want to spend, $10, $50, $100 here and there trying things. You really want someone to guide you through the process and help you find sort of like a customized approach. This is really, really important. And there's a lot to know. So there's like basics with skincare, there's antioxidants, there's peels, there's dermal rolling and microneedling that you can all do at home, but you have to know how to do it properly. So both effectively and obviously safely as well. So that's kind of where I come in, which is pretty fun.
That actually brings up a fact. So, what would you say, like, the advantages of using like a medical grade skincare versus I know so many women it would just go to the local pharmacy and buy whatever's on sale. So
Yeah, great question. A lot of times we'll hear of a new product line. Celebrities do this all the time, and they'll do like a pre-launch, and people will actually buy the product without knowing the full ingredients list. But oftentimes, what's on that sales landing page when you can pre-order or buy is a list of hero ingredients. And this can be a list of anywhere from 3 to 5 hero ingredients. That's kind of like what makes that product great. And a lot of times I'll see things like hyaluronic acid being one of those hero ingredients. But the thing is that hyaluronic acid molecules come in various different sizes. So when you're working with a skincare company or brand that doesn't really understand that, okay, we need a certain size of hyaluronic acid molecule to actually penetrate into the skin cell and not just stay on the surface, that's where a lot of the science comes in. That's where a lot of the research on the final formulation comes in to actually make sure that things like hyaluronic acid are actually entering the cell, and things like antioxidants are kept stable. Because just because a vitamin C or a vitamin A is found on an ingredients list doesn't actually mean it's stable. It could actually become rancid as soon as you open the bottle, or if it's been kept on the shelf too long and hasn't been formulated to be kept stable. So just because there's an ingredient in the ingredients list that you like or that you've heard a lot about doesn't actually really mean anything. It comes down to that final formulation. The same thing goes with potentially getting your beauty products, hair care, skincare, makeup, supplements from these third-party auction websites that, yes, you can get the fake designer handbag from as well. And it, it looks like it might be legit, but it's actually not. This is actually a little dangerous in my opinion because of the potential for harm, and actually buying something that you think is something, but actually the formulation isn't, and it could actually be full of toxins. So that's like the dirty underbelly that I sort of wanted to touch on.
yeah, I see that all the time because I know it's so convenient to use Amazon, and so many of my patients do that. And I'm like, please, I've been thinking about it from supplements or medical devices, but I never really thought about it about for skincare or cosmetics. So that's a great point.
There's a really
So
good documentary on Netflix called Broken. I highly recommend, after listening to Betsy and I, that you actually watch it to open your mind up as to why we don't want to be buying from third-party auction sites, and you want to go straight from an approved distributor like myself.
why is it important that we take care of our skin?
The skin is the largest organ of the body. The skin is also a direct representation of what's going on internally. So, for example, if you're really inflamed, you have a lot of diffuse redness, you have sensitive skin, you have irritation and inflammation to your lash line and eyes, redness around the nose, maybe every change of season, you may get some redness in the nasolabial fold and marionette zone. That can be a sign that your body's toxic bucket might actually be full. And unfortunately, a lot of men and women these days are, because of our diet and because of our lifestyle, we have all these toxins. So what happens when our toxic bucket gets full? You're going to have skin irregularities, diffuse redness, more acne, more redness that sticks around after having a breakout, melasma, hypopigmentation, and accelerated aging with the breakdown of elastin and collagen. So toxins are really, really, really important to be aware of in your daily living. And yeah.
That's such a good point. So then, like, just putting things on our skin isn't necessarily always the answer.
No, in fact, I just 2 days ago wrote an article on this, that really having healthy skin and slowing aging comes from within, because the skin cell cycle, the skin cells, they kind of start in the dermal layer of the skin. And then when you actually see the skin, that's the stratum corneum. Up close, the stratum corneum kind of looks like dead cornflakes stacked on top of one another. So say, for example, I had some sweets recently. Now, a week or two later, I'm getting some breakouts, and I'm kind of noticing my skin isn't looking as good because I had a little bit of sugar. I had a little bit of alcohol that I don't usually have have. And my body is now dealing with those additional toxins. That little bit extra toxic load, it does manifest in the skin. So if you're starting to notice things like, oh, between the age of 37 to 41, I hear this all the time, Rachel, I feel like I've aged overnight. I'm noticing thinning of the skin, sagging to the jawline, eyelids, things like that. You have to make sure that your internal mechanisms are running smoothly. So in fact, taking antioxidants and eating in accordance to your genetics and epigenetics, this is actually where biohacking comes in. And I actually had my biological age tested recently. My biological age versus chronological age is 9 years younger. 9 years younger. So taking this approach works. And we can actually do some super sophisticated diet testing through really affordable kits now that are only like a couple $100. They used to be a couple grand. So you don't really want to listen to all these influencers saying, follow this diet for clear skin or follow this diet. But the funny thing is, because the skin's the largest organ of our body, what's going to be optimized for like a skin diet is also going to be your cardiovascular diet, your blood sugar control diet, your hormone balancing diet, and all of that. It's all wonderfully intricately connected.
That's such a good point. I was thinking I haven't done it in a while, but a couple years ago when I was in my 40s, I did my internal age and it said it was like something like I can't remember. It was like I was like 75. So I haven't done it again because I'm scared to see what the answer is. But I think I really should have taken that as a cue to be taking care of my body better.
But it's good because then you can see those markers as yellow flags before they become orange and red flags. So that's why sometimes doing different tests can be helpful to give you what's called metrics, and then you can adjust your lifestyle accordingly.
And that's another thing you bring up. Like with social media nowadays, you see so many different trends, especially in the beauty field. I mean, I can't even tell you how many, especially well, I've been on TikTok lately, which is a whole nother world, but you're seeing all these things. What is your opinion on some of the trends that are out there right now?
I have never been one for the trends because trends come and go. If we think of someone like Audrey Hepburn, she's timeless, right? I adore someone like her. She has this like classic style, never goes in and out of style, is always in style. And the same thing goes with all these bright, shiny objects. They're basically things for you to spend your money on. You're looked at as a commodity. So you're being sold based on fear and all of that stuff. And we don't want you in that mindset. One of the other things that I would love to just share with everybody is some free things to help you age well and slow your aging. And actually, that comes down to nature. I actually 4x4 about twice a week. I'm 3 hours into the bush and no cell reception. I see bears, I see all sorts of wildlife. It's amazing. And actually, this is crazy. When we're outside of the city for a period of time, we're getting access to cleaner air. So we're not having pollution, dirt, debris sitting on the skin, which actually creates oxidative stress and actually ages your skin cells. And then we're also being able to take a break from things like Wi-Fi and EMF, which research shows has been shown to, again, create inflammation on the skin and the eyes. So there's many benefits to just taking some time out of your busy week, maybe reframe the word busy. Try not to say, how are you? Oh, I'm busy. Try and like reframe all these things. There is actually a mindset to aging well that I do shows and episodes on, which is really cool. And I simply learn it from my mature clients. They teach me so much.
That is great. I cannot wait to find out some more. We're going to take a quick commercial break and come back and find out some tips from Rachel Varga.
80% of women will develop a pelvic health condition at some point in their lives. There is relief. There is hope. The Pelvic Floor Store, your resource for personal health.
Back with Rachel Varga. So, Rachel, what are some of the top tips that you have for healthy skin?
Yeah, there's actually some really simple things that no matter what products you're using right now, you can start to actually optimize the way that you're using them, I do have a free guide. It's my sophisticated skin cheat sheet, where it's just like 5 easy steps for you to optimize your cleansing, optimize your moisturizing, your sunscreen, exfoliation, and maybe once or twice a week hydration options. So with cleansing, I really want to encourage all of you to start actually washing your face twice a day. Some esthetician back in the day, or a dermatologist, I'm not sure who started this, but they started to tell people to only wash your face once a day, maybe splash your face with water in the morning. I have to say it's like clockwork whenever I meet with a client who has diffuse redness and inflammation and irritation, and they say their skin's really sensitive. Maybe they've been told they have rosacea. By the way, this isn't medical advice. This is educational information only. If you think you have a medical condition or have something pop up on your skin that has changed recently, please be sure to get that looked at by your physician. But what I alluded to before with pollution, creating oxidative stress by literally just dirt and pollution sitting on the skin, you have to wash your face morning and night. Even when you're sleeping, you're creating oils, maybe you got your partner or your fur baby or your hair is in your face, you have to wash your face, the dust and debris in the room. So using a really good cleanser that will also take off your makeup that you don't need a toner with, I'm happy to make some recommendations there. And I love to recommend a double cleanse in the evening before going to bed as well. Now that's step 1. Step 2 is moisturizing. Moisturizing is literally like putting a multivitamin on your skin. It needs to have things like antioxidants and peptides to actually feed and nourish your skin cells, not just to plop something on and hope for the best. Then we want to make sure that we're protecting the skin, and that includes using a mineral-based sunscreen every single day. If you look on the back of your moisturizer or foundation and you see anything like avobenzone and oxybenzone, you need to turf it because those are actually messing with your hormones. So happy to make some recommendations there, but sunscreen every day is a non-negotiable, as well as exfoliating the skin and getting off those dead skin cell layers. That's actually one of the culprits of dry skin, believe it or not, is not exfoliating that stratum corneum off enough. And then your moisturizers and antioxidants and peptides can't penetrate all that buildup of dead skin, makeup, skincare that you're not properly cleansing and exfoliating off.
You know what? I'm sitting here listening to you and I'm starting to feel really guilty. And I'm like reminded that I need to talk to you more often because I get lazy. I'll talk to you and I'll be like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take care of my skin. And then I, start running out of my products and I go, oh, I'll just wash my face at night. So I thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, let me know what you need. Just send me an email, info@rachelvarga.ca, and I'll get you set up. Maybe we could do a quick follow-up call as well, just to give you some guidance and have a conversation. Let me know what you're currently doing, and then we can make adjustments. I'm more than happy to. It's always great to connect.
Well, that's a fun thing that you do is that you do virtual consults anywhere and everywhere all over the world. Yeah, how does that work?
It's super easy. You just book a time. Go to my website, rachelvarga.ca, book a one-on-one session with me. And it's not just the call that you get with me, but it's actually the follow-up. You basically have me in your back pocket. Whenever you have a question, you can email me. I'm there to continue to support you with both your at-home options and potentially in-clinic options. We can talk about, and I can show you how to do dermal rolling because that's something that's been studied since the 90s. That's wonderful, but you have to get the right roller and use the right products with it. It's everyone online. If you look at dermal rolling videos online, there's just a ton of bad free information out there. So stick with me. I've got your friend, I've got your back, got everything in between, and I'm more than happy to help you. I have clients all over the world, which is really fun. And I've been doing virtual calls since I think 2018. So even before Zoom was really a thing, I've always had an international draw for clients, and I work with all sorts of different types of people, and it's just great. Anyone who wants to have healthier skin, first do the heavy lifting at home, clean up your lifestyle, live a less toxic lifestyle, get your hormones balanced. But I mean, I can also assist with all of that too.
And you actually run some courses throughout the year too. What do you do during your courses?
Yeah, so my skin camps, I do them seasonally. So every spring, summer, fall, winter, because the funny thing with skin is that every change of season, you may need to tweak what you're doing. You may need to mix up your moisturizer. Maybe you need less hydration in the summer, more hydration in the winter. You may need to add an antioxidant serum to mitigate additional redness or dryness, hydration. Maybe we need to work on hyperpigmentation from being in the sun a lot in the summertime. So in the summer, it's guidance on how to really kind of like protect your skin while being able to go outside and enjoy yourself by using clean sunscreens. There's even some supplements that I personally take that function as an internal sunscreen by reducing oxidative stress and inflammation in the body, which is fantastic. And then fall and winter, there's actually some skin rejuvenation options that you can do at home with at-home peels. There's also some in-clinic things like lasers to potentially almost erase things like sunspots, broken capillaries, and promote collagen. But there's so much snake oil out there. It's just bonkers. So I sleep very well at night, helping to keep my clients on the straight and narrow. Those skin camps are so much fun. Everything's at rachelvarga.ca. Send me an email if you have any questions.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So I wanted to ask you, there's so many things you just brought up that I want to ask you about, but dermal rolling, what in the world is that?
Yeah, well, I have a couple here. I work with a few. I work with dermal rollers that have the companies that have been making dermal rollers since the 90s. I'm actually really fortunate that one of the original dermal rolling researchers lives in the city where I live, and I'm very chummy with his research assistant still to this day. And so this is the caliber of information that I hold in regards to at-home dermal rolling or microneedling. You can certainly show up to a clinic and get that done once a month, but the research shows us that it's actually better to do it at home 2 to 5 times a week. So you're getting that continual controlled injury to the skin, if you will. So there's 2 brands of rollers that I work with, like I said, that have been making rollers since the 90s. Book a call with me. I'll get you all set up for the right depth and the style of roller. Obviously, I can't make blanket claims or drop brand names in this episode here, but this is an example of a roller. And this is absolutely something you do not want to get off Amazon or eBay. And I'll tell you why. It has been actually investigated that some of these lower quality, cheaper rollers that you'll find for $10, $20 off Amazon or eBay, up close, the needles aren't needles, they're blades, and they rust, and they can come out and actually get embedded in the skin. And they might actually be full of heavy metals or alloys as opposed to surgical steel or titanium. Also, the rollers I work with are good for about 2 years as opposed to that 10 to 20 use, and then you chuck it. So we have to be very careful with being more conscious consumers these days. What are you buying? What company are you supporting? And is that potentially going to end up in a landfill? And of course, does it work? So I do actually show my clients how to perform dermal rolling. This is a specific depth that I like to use all the time. There's also a little stamper right here that actually allows you to get into some of the more contoured areas of the face, like the corners of the nose and like around the eyes. It's also helpful for things like restoring lost hair to your edges. So giving birth, hormones, thyroid issues are all going to be contributing factors to potentially hair loss. But then here's the kicker. You have to use the right products after dermal rolling. So when you're rolling the skin, it's almost like aerating the lawn. You're creating these little channels of dermal injury in the skin. And then you're able to apply products to not only be absorbed topically, but actually transdermally, about 100 to 1,000 times deeper. So you can't just use any type of product that you have and, apply it before or after dermal rolling. You have to be specifically guided to make sure you're using products with dermal rolling that are going to be safe and effective and have been studied. So this one in particular is a vitamin serum. And you can get these on my e-store and stuff like that on the website, but I do recommend getting that customized guidance from me. So this has retinol. It also has glutathione, it has vitamin B complex. There's another serum I like to use with dermal rolling that's got copper peptides, hyaluronic acid, and a few other wonderful things as well. So there's quite a method to the madness with dermal rolling. This isn't something that you just want to watch a bunch of YouTube videos and listen to some influencers and think you know what you're doing. Like I said, pretty much every video I've ever seen online on social media and YouTube for dermal rolling has actually been pretty poor technique. I have no problem with saying that blanket statement. So I should do a reaction video actually to all these at-home dermal rolling demos. I've seen two people or one person have two rollers and go like this. I'm like, goodness gracious, are they joking?
So really, this is something that we could be causing more damage if we're not using the right things with the right
100%.
technique.
100%.
So yeah, and that's kind of scary.
But I've had loads of clients in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. And say, for example, they don't want to, or they don't have the funds to do lasers or other things. They stick with this, with their skincare routine, their dermal rolling. And then I go and do like a facial treatment for them and I touch their skin. And they actually have more collagen in their 60s to 80s, thicker skin than some of the clients I'm seeing in their 20s and 30s. So this is like a long-term strategy to build collagen. The little needles actually stimulate collagen and elastin production and actually can penetrate the keratinocyte for pigmentation, which is pretty cool. But yeah, there's definitely a bit of guidance that's involved. It's nothing to be intimidated by, but you just want to go about it in like a very conscientious manner.
And that's like we hear so much about collagen and elastin. What are they and why is it important for your skin?
Collagen is actually one of the most abundant building blocks in our body. So when we're losing collagen, which like I said earlier, characteristically happens overnight, it's like this drop from about age 37 to 41. What's going on there? Hormone changes, maybe perimenopause is starting to happen. And then at that point, maybe you're noticing like your joints aren't behaving the same way. So I personally am a huge fan of supplementing collagen. However, taking a collagen supplement will not magically deposit that collagen into your fine lines that you're hoping for. It will just in general help to help the skin just appear a little bit thicker. But collagen isn't the only supplement that I recommend that you integrate into your routine. I highly recommend that. I've done a couple of episodes on the Rachel Varga podcast, Rachel Varga YouTube channel. Check this one out. We actually talk about the 3 key skin nutrients, and I'll just share briefly here. Antioxidants, omegas, and collagen are the 3 key supplements to be taking. Now, here's the thing. You want to be working with companies that have been formulating for a long time. So I work with companies that have been formulating for 15 to 30 years. They have third-party independent lab testing done on their products. Collagen that I like to recommend is, I have a couple of different forms. Collagen isn't vegan. It's impossible to get vegan collagen because it comes from the skin of animals. So it's either going to come from like beef, poultry, or fish. So there's a really good beef one that I work with that is completely non-GMO, grass-fed beef, all that stuff. So the quality of the collagen matters as well. And bonus points for using a collagen like the ones that I offer that also have multiple cofactors in them. So you're not just getting the collagen, but there's other things mixed in it to actually make it more bioavailable in the body so that it's better absorbed.
Oh my goodness. So one of the things, you got so much great tips, and I definitely encourage people to go to your website and find out more. So where specifically can they find out more about you?
Yeah, just head over to rachelvarga.ca and you'll find everything there. Definitely hang out with me on the Rachel Varga podcast on all major platforms, Rachel Varga YouTube channel. Hang out with me there. I go live a ton. So be sure to hit the bell and subscribe on YouTube. And then you can interact with me live, which is really fun. If you have any questions from this call, send me an email, info@rachelvarga.ca. Make sure that you get on my newsletter at rachelvarga.ca and download this 5 steps to sophisticated skin cheat sheet so that you can right away start to optimize what you're doing with your skincare at home. Then maybe once you're through your product, we've had the chance to connect, I can then make some, more optimized recommendations for mature skin and all of that. And it doesn't have to be expensive, right? You'll probably end up spending less money on your skincare, especially if, say, you have a cleanser, like I mentioned, that can take off your makeup. You won't need a toner as well. It's one of the sunscreens I work with doubles as a primer and has antioxidants in it too. So it's great for makeup and all that good stuff. I'm just rachelvarga.ca and the Rachel Varga YouTube channel and Rachel Varga podcast, which You've been on many times.
Yeah, I know. And we've always had so much fun talking on there. And I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with us today. I also want to remind people to go check out WYTV7.org to look at all the other programs and other shows we've had on there, and some of the other broadcasters. While you're there, don't forget to hit the donate button. Every little bit counts, and your money helps with community programs and also bringing additional programs like this today. So once again, thank you so much, Rachel, for informing us about proper skincare. I'm so excited, that always love talking to you.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.